And we begin in Lagos, Nigeria's commercial capital, where Good Friday went sour for road users as an early morning multi-vehicle accident caused a major traffic congestion along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. The crash occurred at Kara Bridge in Ward Opik, pushing traffic as far back as the Otedola Bridge area. The Lagos State Traffic Management Authority says the incident was reported at 7:40 a.m. via their official handle at Follow LASMA. LASMA personnel and emergency responders quickly arrived on scene to rescue victims and clear the wreckage. Earlier, News Central's correspondent Israel Iferobo was at the scene and gave us a picture of events. Take a look.
What may have led to the accidents that happened here on Kara Bridge earlier today, but the reason for the marked accidents is not really clear. It may be as a result of brake failure. It may be as a result of the driver overspeeding because we couldn't get a hold of the driver. But what we do know at this point in time is that the truck fell off, causing the accidents, hitting about 5 cars at the same time, with casualties being recorded. Luckily, no one died from the accidents, as we have been told. But the result of this accident has resulted into a build-up of traffic.
The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Nyesom Wike, says he wanted the outright removal of Siminalayi Fubara as Governor of Rivers State. Speaking during a media chat in Abuja on Friday, Wike justified the declaration of a state of emergency by President Bola Tinubu in Rivers State, wondering why the suspended governor has not reached out to him since his suspension.
I'm not. I wanted outright removal of the governor. As a politician, I'm not happy. But for the interest of the state, the president did the right thing. As a lawyer, I'm coming. I don't know the mother is in court. But let the problem was say the truth. The governor was gone. He was gone. Yes. He was gone. So what do you say? President Bush, I don't know. This is where they should be worshiping. They should be worshiping Mr. President. Everyone who got the president can wash their feet.
On the ongoing crisis within the People's Democratic Party, PDP, Wike openly criticized the governor's forum, saying they don't possess the power to appoint the party's national chairman as it's an elective position.
The governor's forum, we have met with the orders of the party. We have met with the National Working Committee. Who are you to say that? A national secretary of the party that was elected, it was not appointed. Yes, it was not a particular area. And it was elected by the delegates at National Convention. If anybody that would move national secretary of the party, it is through the National Convention. I think we will not consider that it is done to South-East. South-East can still not bring somebody. They can only say, okay, when we go for National Convention, this is the person we are going to back. It's not my appointment, it's my election.
Joining us now from Lagos for more on this is Barrister Tunji Abdulhamid. He's a lawyer and public affairs analyst, and he joins me live. Just thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Abdulhamid. Let's just get started, shall we? I mean, what the minister said is quite strong and very unabashed, I would say. How would that have been achieved, and would the lawyers really have succeeded?
Yeah, thank you for having me, Judith. I think the point he's trying to make, I'm not even surprised anyway that he says so, because all his plan was to have the governor take out of the place. That has been his plan with his co-planners, that is the House of Assembly members. So I think what is the understanding, my understanding of what he's saying is that they would have preferred that impeachment process to continue rather than the state of emergency wherein the governor is being suspended. So he is of the view that that's my own interpretation, that if that impeachment notice had been continued, before the state of emergency declaration, there was a notice of impeachment served by the issue and served by the the members of the 27 members of the House of Assembly. Is of the opinion that if that had continued, the governor would have been removed, and that he would have preferred that particular style instead of that of the suspension that the governor is facing now. So I'm not surprised that he's saying that. We all know that all the issue in River State, all the crisis has been is him doing it. Like I said, he's not hiding his feeling. He's not hiding what he wanted for River State. He has not shown that he loved the people of River State. It's always been about him. And all the things he said today, the majority of them are things that he did while he was in government. That today he's saying it should not be so. In fact, he even said that the fact that somebody did it yesterday does not mean it should be continued. So whatever he is doing is what is good. But when another person is doing it, it's a bad thing. I think Mr. Wike is lucky that it's in a country like Nigeria where people just play politics with everything.
Play politics without integrity. Now, this is clearly a matter. The FCT minister is taking lightly. Does his briefing in any way add up to the peace process in River State, if there was one to begin with?
Yeah, if you are fighting Mr. Wike, if you know Mr. Wike very well, there cannot be peace. The only if you have crisis, if you have issue with Mr. Wike, it is only if Mr. Wike is ready to settle it. That's when it can be settled. No matter what the governor would do, I tell you, Mr. Wike will not listen to him, except the governor decided to say, okay, whatever your command is, or if you say I should not even enter my house, I will not enter, and that is sign, and he's agreed that will be done. That's the only time it will be. You can see people who are blaming PDP at that time that the PDP were not able to settle the matter between Wike and the presidential candidate. You can see now, Mr. Wike is not. It's only when if he's fighting anybody, it's only when he wants it settled that it can be settled. It must be at his own time. With any other person's time does not hold water. It is only him, and it shows that he does not have the interest of the people of River State at heart. Otherwise, what is happening today will not be happening in River State. How can somebody who said he loves River State be supporting people who apply to court to withhold allocation meant for the people of River State that will serve for the purpose of development of River State? And he said, yes, you love River State. How can you love a state and you expect and you applaud state of emergency in your state, whereby your elected governors and elected officers are being removed and it's being controlled like a military administration? It's unfortunate that we are in a country where people just only everything about politics. If you listen to him yesterday today, it's only all the things he was talking about is if you know how to play politics. So politics in Nigeria is not about governance. It's about whatever you can do to win the election. So if you know how to play your game, win the election, you are the person that is considered as a good politician in Nigeria. It is not about your ability to govern the country. It's an unfortunate situation that we have found ourselves in this country. Mr. Wike is not.
Can we ever rid ourselves of this type of politics, self-serving politicians, lack of integrity amongst the ruling class? Is there ever going to be a time where the democracy is free and fair, or should I say transparent and accountable?
Judy, I'm afraid we may not be able to get to that level now. Even in 10 years, I don't see that coming. Because people we have in politics today are people who see everything as politics. And you see, we have for long allowed people who call wicked people who call lack of integrity, people who call rogue in quotes, to take charge of our activities in the governance in this country. People who claim to be sincere and honest and who see themselves as Mr. Right, stay away from the system. So we allow people today. If I ask some of you now today, we say, God forbid that I join politics. So if the people who think they are good and they can change the system are running away from it, what do you expect? You see people who are not still care being in charge and taking control of it until we all see these governors as our business and they think that we must also be informing. That's when we get results. It's not for you when you say join politics or do politics. We are not. They are not saying you should come and contest election. But if you don't participate in it, whoever they give to you as your candidate, that is the person you vote for, whether the person is good or not. Once the party nominates him, you have no choice than to choose between two devils or three or four devils. So and by our law today now, we have been told that even if the party bring out a candidate that is not qualified, as long as it's not being challenged by his party or by people who contested with him at the primary, nobody can challenge it again. So it's unfortunate.
Unfortunate indeed. I must say thank you, Tunji Abdulhamid, for just joining us and coming on here and giving us a bit of insight following the comments made by the FCT minister during the media briefing. Tunji Abdulhamid, he is Abdulhamid, I beg your pardon, is a public affairs analyst and a lawyer. Once again, thank you. Let's now switch gears to the celebrations for this weekend, as it's Good Friday today. And Christian faithfuls in Nigeria are joining their counterparts around the world to celebrate the death of Christ. In Abuja, worshippers at St. Mary's Catholic Church in Kurudu gathered for the Passion Play, a solemn reenactment of the crucifixion of Jesus Christ as part of activities marking this year's Good Friday observance.
We adore you, O Christ, and we praise you. I will. Our Father who art in heaven, upon him was the chastisement that made 7 stations.
Christians all over the world are commemorating the crucifixion of Jesus Christ on Good Friday. In commemoration of the Good Friday in Umuahia, Abia State, southeast Nigeria, Catholic faithfuls gathered at the Marian Shrine of the Mater Dei Cathedral for the Station of the Cross and later the Passion Mass. News Center's Chinwe Ugeli has more.
It is the last station of the cross for the season and also marks the end of the Lenten season. The exercise captures the various stages of pain and torture that Jesus Christ went through before his crucifixion on the cross. Because it is the day that Jesus was betrayed by one of his disciples and denied by another, Christians are admonished to live right in order not to extend the betrayal and pains he passed through.
A Christian can as well deny Jesus by living a wayward life, by living a sinful life.
Some Christians say they have emulated the life of Christ by not bearing grudges against those who betrayed them.
Now that I'm getting older, when somebody betrays me, I try to find out the cause. Why? And if you can just apologize, simply say he's sorry and will not do it again, I'll forgive him.
I don't count it as anything because I see that they don't know what they're doing. So I don't take it serious. I pray that they repent and change.
They also recognize the importance of Good Friday.
We are now in the Triduum period, which is those 3 very vital days that brought about Christianity. Saw the suffering of Christ, saw his death, saw his burial, saw his rising from the cross. And in my own life as a Christian, today, Good Friday, gives me the urge and courage to continue being a stronger and stronger and stronger Christian.
It's a special day because it's the day he gave all that I may live. He could have called 10,000 angels to set him free, but because of his love for mankind, he died alone that we may live.
The priest also explains the importance of the day, without which there would not have been resurrection or salvation.
So every Christian will partake and benefit from today's celebration by participating actively, reflecting over his or her life, and by opening his or her heart to accept Jesus as his Lord and personal Savior.
Today, the Church forbids consumption of meat and preaches forgiveness of wrongdoings, even as it mourns the crucifixion of the one who founded it. In Umuahia for News Central, Chinwe Ugeli.
Now to housing matters. In response to the evolving challenges facing Nigeria's housing sector, the Federal Housing Authority has convened a strategic workshop in Kaduna, drawing experts, policymakers and stakeholders to evaluate progress and identify new paths forward experts, new policymakers, as well as stakeholders to evaluate progress and identify new paths forward. The workshop focused on the highs and lows experienced over the past year, with discussion centered around rising construction costs, regulatory challenges, as well as the urgent demand for affordable housing. Experts at the session explored innovative financing models and the growing adoption of modular construction techniques as potential breakthroughs for the sector.
One of the arguments is very straightforward now, and which we've succeeded in doing. It's like you cannot build a house, then you now tell somebody that he won't have access to that house after paying 100%. No. What's the purpose of me paying? We must have a benchmark. Pay 30%, take the keys of your house, move in, then you pay the rest over years. So far, we've done our own credible source. We've done vetting on it. Then we'll collect. And that's why houses have been abandoned. You say people.
And what we're focused is to ensure that all houses being developed, conceptualized and developed by the Federal Housing Authority are end-user demand-driven. And we want to make them as affordable as possible.
And the energy with which this management came with is inspiring everyone to give in their best. You can see for the first time in the history of this organization, we're having in-house resource persons coming to speak with authority on what it is they're doing and what they want to know and how far they have gone.
The Construction and Civil Engineering Senior Staff Association of Nigeria has pledged to rid the construction sector of cracks so as to ensure the quality of infrastructure being built in the country. The president of the association spoke to journalists during the commissioning of the association's headquarters in the Kuje Area Council of Abuja, saying that steps are underway to deter unregistered construction and civil engineering workers from practicing in the industry. Our correspondent Joshua Marai has the details.
The event had in attendance members of the Construction and Civil Engineering Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, representatives from government and trade unions, including Nigeria's Minister of Labour and Productivity, Megari Dinyadi. The minister, while commissioning the ultra-modern secretariat complex of the association, located in the Kuje Area Council of the SCT, urged its members to focus on building legacies and not just structures.
Government, industry, professionals, and labor unions to work collaboratively towards advancing policies that foster a thriving construction sector. Together, we must prioritize sustainable building practices, invest in capacity development, and uphold the highest standards of professionalism and safety. Let us continue to build not just structures, but a legacy of excellence that will endure for generations to come.
The president of the association, while speaking to journalists, says that steps are underway to rid the industry of quacks by deterring unregistered construction and civil engineering workers from practicing in the industry.
Yes, we are talking to the government and we are talking to the professional bodies. Anybody that is not registered should not be allowed to practice. And I think NSC and Koren, they are taking that challenge.
Also, the president of the Trade Union Congress, Festus Osifo, frowned at the casualization of Nigerian workers, describing it as a tragedy, saying that it robs the nation the opportunity to ensure the maintenance of standards during construction.
They will go and hire people who doesn't have the certification. They will hire people who doesn't have the know-how. So you cannot put two of them together. In CESA, we have people that are authority, we have people that are experienced, we have people that are registered.
The association launched 2 books on health and safety in the workplace to assist professionals in obtaining certifications. In Abuja for News Central, I am Joshua Imarai.
The urgent need for stronger climate action has again taken center stage as stakeholders gather in Abuja to examine the growing impact of climate change on Nigeria. At the event, Nigeria's Climate Impact Outlook report was officially launched, offering fresh data on how current global emissions trends could spell disastrous consequences for the country if not urgently addressed. News Center's Agir Ibrahim has more in this report. Take a look.
With global warming projected to reach 2.7 degrees Celsius, Nigeria is among the countries expected to suffer the most from extreme heat, facing temperatures hotter than anywhere currently on Earth. This sobering projection is one of several findings highlighted by climate change advocates who are calling for renewed commitment from the government and key stakeholders to curb the worsening impact of global warming on the country and its citizens.
I think this particular event is really timely and important, especially at this time. We haven't felt heat wave as much as we are feeling at the moment. So we need to continue to have this conversation about climate change and its impact, not just on us, but also on our economy.
We should be concerned, but especially our policymakers should even be more concerned, because the responsibility of government is the welfare and security of citizens. If you cannot tackle climate change, then you cannot tackle the welfare of citizens.
Participants at the event also stressed the importance of sustained public dialogue to drive greater awareness and action on climate change.
It is clear that the decision we make here today will determine our national trajectory for decades to come. Our commitment to sustainable development and effective climate action must be unwavering. It must be embedded into every facet of our decision-making processes.
One of the best things we can do for us to find solutions to solving the climate crisis that we have in Nigeria and also in Africa is to consistently gather a bit more knowledge, knowledge that is being backed by data to help us make more informed decisions. So I think that this outlook will really help us shape the kind of thoughts that we have on how to respond to this.
The highlight of the event was the unveiling of the Nigeria Climate Impact Outlook, a new report offering empirical data on how global emissions trends could drastically affect the country if urgent measures are not taken. In Abuja for News Central, I'm Sakir Ibrahim.
When we talk about staying healthy, we often think of diet, exercise, or sleep. But there's one area many of us tend to overlook: our oral health. It turns out a healthy smile goes beyond aesthetics. It can influence your physical, emotional, and even social well-being. Our correspondent Oluwakemi Alimi tells us more.
According to the World Health Organization, oral diseases, including tooth decay, gum disease, and oral cancer, affect over 3.5 billion people globally. These aren't just mouth problems. They can lead to chronic pain, disfigurement, and even death in severe cases. Experts recommend brushing, flossing, and most importantly, visiting your dentist at least twice a year.
Mouth problems that we have that is common is dental caries, and it's actually caused by we ourselves. We try to tell them that if you are taking all these things that predisposes you to come down with cavities, you have to be brushing immediately. You get a fluoride containing paste and brush. People having gum diseases, gingivitis, you see them having bleeding gums. Visit dentists every 6 months, which is okay.
But beyond the physical pain, the psychological and emotional toll of dental problems is often underestimated. While many have grasped the habit of daily brushing, regular dental visits remain a distant thought, often overshadowed by the wait until it hurts approach.
First time I've ever visited a dentist was maybe 7 years ago. Okay, because I had a hole in my teeth and it required, it was painful then. I had to take some pain relief like medications and stuff. But when I wasn't getting the expected result, I had to visit the dentist.
I have drugs that I used to use to just be like you want to die because the pain is so much. So best thing is just to know how to maintain yourself.
Talking about visiting dentists, I don't think I do that consistently, but it was when I was having issue with my teeth. So that's the time I visited. And when I got over it, I didn't think of it again to visit.
Dental pain can disrupt sleep, reduce productivity, and make eating difficult, leading to fatigue and poor nutrition. Emotionally, it contributes to anxiety, mood swings, and in some cases, depression.
For instance, somebody that have mouth odor, which we call halitosis. Such people may not be able to talk confidently outside. Once he's aware that he's having a mouth odor, he may not be able to talk among his peers. He may not be able to express himself. That gives him a kind of low morale to associate and to speak publicly. So by the time they come to us and we try to fix the problem, giving them a solution, that alone boosts their confidence and also enhances their quality of life.
So what can you do? Taking care to smile could just be the most cost-effective and the smartest thing you can do for your mental and emotional well-being. In Lagos, for News Central, Oluwakemi Alimi.
And you're welcome back. A sweeping anti-corruption campaign is shaking Senegal's political and financial landscape in what authorities describe as an unprecedented crackdown. Nearly 300 individuals have been arrested and 15 billion CFA francs have now been recovered in a 7-month investigation targeting economic and financial crimes. Led by the Financial Judicial Pool, the probe spans hundreds of cases linked to alleged embezzlement and misuse of public funds. A separate inquiry into the management of COVID-19 response funds revealed further irregularities. 27 people were questioned, 1 remains in custody, while others were released under judicial supervision.
Considérez qu'hier et aujourd'hui, la division des investigations criminelles a conduit au parquet de Dakar, sur instruction de M. le procureur de la République de Dakar, 27 personnes. La plupart d'entre elles ont proposé de consigner et elles l'ont fait parce que les magistrats instructeurs ont accédé à leur demande. De sorte qu'hier...
Military sources have confirmed that 8 soldiers were killed and 13 others wounded in a suspected jihadist attack in northern Benin. The assault, which took place on Thursday, targeted 2 military outposts in W National Park near Kodu Falls, close to the borders with Niger and Burkina Faso. The posts were part of Operation Mirado, Benin's military initiative launched in 2022 to combat extremist threats in the north. The sources also reported that 11 militants were killed during the confrontation. The attack highlights the growing security challenges in the tri-border region. A wave of violence has struck southwestern Colombia, where twin bombings have left communities reeling and authorities on high alert. In La Plata, located in Julia department, a motorcycle bomb detonated near a police station, killing 2 people and injuring at least 24. Flames and debris were seen engulfing the area shortly after the blast. Colombian officials are blaming dissenting factions of the former FARC rebel group, which withdrew from a 2016 peace accord. The La Plata bombing came just hours after another deadly explosion targeted in a police station in the neighboring Caca department. Security forces are now on heightened alert as investigators link the attacks to escalating activity by armed groups opposed to the peace process.
Un artefacto explosivo acondicionado en una motocicleta frente a un hotel en inmediaciones de la estación de policía del municipio de La Plata. En este hecho resultaron inicialmente 2 personas asesinadas y preliminarmente 24 lesionadas, quienes fueron trasladados a centros asistenciales para recibir atención médica.
Gearing up to vote in crucial federal elections on April 28th vote. Now, Prime Minister Mark Carney, who succeeded Justin Trudeau on March 14th, appears to be walking a tightrope, facing sustained attacks from conservative leader during a debate in Quebec. Now, Carney is hopeful his economic expertise makes him the best candidate to counter U.S. President Donald Trump's aggressive trade policies. He said Canada must respond decisively. But the Conservative leader is eyeing a Canada First policy and is blaming the Liberal Party's leadership for past economic vulnerabilities.
The difference, one of the differences, there are many, but one of the differences between the two of us goes to the question I was just asked, which is I put much more emphasis on the economy, on growing the economy. In fact, in this circumstance that we're in, given the scale of the crisis and what needs to be done, I would say a relentless focus on growing the economy to work for all Canadians.
Well, what I have said is when there is a crime involved, including crimes of vandalism, that visitors to Canada should be deported. You simply can't come here and firebomb a Jewish bakery or someone's home or smash windows out of a political riot and expect to stay in this country if you are on a visitor visa. Dans une situation.
Joining us now virtually from Lagos is a Canadian politician and leadership consultant, Ayo Owudumi. Ayo, thanks for doing this with us. The dust is yet to settle from the debate, and it appears both candidates from the Liberal and Conservative parties are watching until D-Day to see what happens. How are you following, build up to the federal elections?
It is really exciting times for many people in Canada. It's also very nerve-wracking time as well. It's amazing how we're looking to balance both. As many people that I speak with, people are looking for someone that is confident enough, someone that has the ability to be able to work with the big elephant, so to speak, as when we talk the elephant in the room, rather, when we talk about Donald Trump. He took up a huge chunk of the debate. So many people are concerned about who is the right person to be able to help us through this, and who can we trust to be able to lead this charge. And beyond that as well, we have our different premiers from different regions, and who can ensure that we're able to build inter-provincial trade, and then also start looking outside of the country as well to figure out what can we do to be able to build relations with people, with countries outside as well. So far, Mark Carney has been the Prime Minister for a very, very short period of time. And a lot of the jabs that were thrown at him, in fact, there was a phrase used called the lost decade from the Liberals. And his response is, I've only been a Prime Minister for 30 days, or whatever the number was that he mentioned. And he was able to list a lot of the things that he's been able to do within that time period. So at this point in time, when you talk to people, there are people that are dependent on where people are in terms of what their leanings are. Are you more leftist or rightist when it comes to Canadian policies? But Mark Carney has done a great job of moving the Liberal Party to the central. He's more centrist at this point in time, which has given many people an opportunity to be able to start listening to what he's saying and pay more attention to him. And you can see that in the polls as well.
And how exactly do you foresee the strategy that any winner come April 28th will use to navigate relations with the U.S., especially on the matter of tariffs? Is the big word now. Everyone's saying it.
It's a great point, and that was a key part of the debate. What is your strategy? What is your plan? And what are you looking to do? Mark Carney was, and Pierre Poilievre as well, they were both very clear in what exactly that they were looking to do. One of the key things both of them talked about was the importance of being able to confront and have crucial and important conversations with President Donald Trump of the United States. And beyond that, how do you respond if there's a tariff that has been thrown out? And how do you work with the premiers as well? That was a critical area as well that needed to be discussed. But more importantly, what can you do to be able to expand? The United States has been our largest trading partner for many, many decades. What can we do to start going to Europe and other continents to be able to have conversations with them? Mark Carney was in Germany, he's with the United Kingdom. So you can see he is not just talking about it, it's something that he is already doing. Pierre is coming with great ideas as well in terms of these are some of the things that need to be done. We must ensure that we are protecting our economy as there's a potential of a recession. We must ensure that our people are taken care of. I think I mentioned to you last time I was with you, just in my area alone, projections of 22 to 23,000 jobs that could be lost just from the tariffs from the United States. So this is probably the biggest issue. Unfortunately, there are other issues as well that should be discussed, that should be highlighted, but it's not being in the limelight right now because we have this major issue that needs to definitely be addressed.
And let's talk foreign policy in terms of the new global position Canada looks to be emerging into, especially given a shift towards Europe. Tell us about Canada's foreign policy outlook after April 28th.
Depends on who ends up winning, but from what parties are pushing at this point, we have realized that we cannot continue what we have done before. We cannot continue to rely on our major trade partner. Even different cities across Canada, are pushing to ensure that they expand, vendors and suppliers beyond just the United States. So this is something that it was very obvious to Pierre Poilievre. It's something that he's pushing and talking about. Also for Mark Carney and his team, they're looking to ensure that they are expanding beyond where they are now, looking to ensure that they're connecting with people in Europe, connecting with different countries, having the right conversations with them to ensure that we're able to expand our trade into those areas. So I would say our foreign policy, we're becoming more friendly, more open to better conversations. Nothing is going to be left unturned moving forward. Honestly, for me, I see this as an opportunity. Yes, it's a big challenge for us. Yes, it's been challenging, but whomever gets in, it's a great opportunity for us to diversify, for us to start thinking about, okay, what can we do with all the minerals that we have in Canada that we've not really, in terms of diving to the full potential of all of them. This is a perfect opportunity to do it. And whomever gets in, based on what the polls are saying, whomever gets in next, this is something that they're going to treat as a major priority.
Right. I must say thank you, Ayo, for taking out the time to join us. Ayo Wudumi there. He is a politician all the way from Canada, but he joins us live here in Lagos. Virtually, just give us a bit of insight following the federal elections coming up April 28th. Once again, thank you. Let's switch gears from Canada this time to Ukraine-Russia war. But first, let's go on a short break. We'll bring you the details after the break. Stay with us. And you're welcome back. A fragile pause in Russian attacks on Ukrainian infrastructure has officially ended, according to the Kremlin, as hopes for a broader ceasefire continue to fade. The Kremlin confirmed Friday that a 30-day moratorium on strikes against Ukraine's energy infrastructure has lapsed, with no new orders issued by President Vladimir Putin. The limited truce brokered by the U.S. President Donald Trump last month was marred by repeated violations from both sides. Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky claims that Russia never honored the deal and continued targeting critical infrastructure. Turkey's largest oil refiner, Tüpraş, has placed orders for Nigerian crude cargoes for March and April. This is expected to potentially boost Nigeria's oil revenue amid recent hike in export drive efforts. Meanwhile, volumes were not disclosed. Global tracker Kepler confirmed the delivery that it is expected within 2 months. Nigeria relies on oil for 90% of its foreign exchange and plans to fund 56% of its 2025 budget through crude revenues. However, oil earnings face headwinds as Indonesia, once a key buyer, plans to increase imports from the U.S. instead. Tüpraş also ordered crude from Guyana, Libya, and Norway, according to the data. Nigeria's Flying Eagles secured a 2-1 victory over Murak FC in their final preparatory match ahead of the 2025 Africa Under-20 Cup of Nations. Goals from Barobo Uriera and Precious Benjamin sealed the win for coach Aliyu Zubaru's side. The 7-time champions are scheduled to depart for Cairo on Sunday, where they will play 2 friendly matches before the tournament kicks off. Nigeria aiming to reclaim continental glories, placed in Group B alongside Tunisia and Kenya. Nigeria's under-17 women's team, the Flamingos, aim for a higher margin win against Algeria in Saturday's FIFA's Under-17 Women's World Cup. final qualifying round first leg in Ikene. Now, Coach Bankole Oluwokere, he emphasized the need for a convincing result to ease pressure ahead of the return leg in Plida on April 25th. The Flamingos are riding high after defeating South Africa home and away in the previous round. Key players Harmony Chidi, Shakirat Moshood, Aishat and Imashan are expected to lead the charge. Saturday's clash takes place at Remo Star Stadium, where Nigeria previously beat South Africa 2-0. The World Cup is scheduled for the 17th of October to 5th November in Morocco.
My plans will take care of my worries. So I have a good plan, which I'm being follow up with my technical crew. We have been looking for ways. We've watched their video, we've seen one or two things, and then we try to work on our strength as much so that we'll be able to have a glorious day. Glorious in the sense that we want Nigeria to be proud of us. We have called Nigerians to come out and watch us, and we cannot afford to disappoint them. I've tasted the World Cup once, twice, and I want to see the third time again.
Yokohama F. Muronos have dismissed the manager, Steve Holland, less than 4 months into his tenure, following the poor run of one win in 11 J-League matches. The former England assistant, who took charge in January after leaving Gareth Southgate's setup, leaves the club sitting 18th in Japan's top flight. His dismissal comes just over a week before a key Asian Champions League quarter-final clash with Al Nassr. Head coach Patrick Kisnobo will assume interim duties. Holland had found some success in Asia, guiding the team past Shanghai Port in the Champions League last 16. Yokohama, part of City Football Group, previously sacked Harry Kewell last season. Now they face Urawa Reds next in the domestic action before their continental fixture. Let's see if that would bring them luck. Anyway, that's all we can take at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has said he wanted suspended Rivers Governor Siminalayi Fubara removed outright and slams PDP governors as party's crisis deepens. The police have tightened security at churches as Nigerian faithfuls and Christians join counterparts worldwide to mark Good Friday. And we also told you that nearly 300 persons have been arrested in Senegal and $26 million recovered in a 7-month investigation targeting economic and financial crimes. Now, do remember they can send us your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number now showing on the screen. And while you're at it, make sure to follow us on social media. We're at News Central TV on all social media platforms. You can always watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Go TV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, or better yet, just stream us live on YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Judith, the TV. Bye for now.